He had a very distinctive laugh, was not a soft talker, so you knew when he was in the building.
People listened to Dave. He brought this intelligence, he brought this style, and he brought this way of analyzing organizations.
Full of energy, a great marketer, dedicated to the profession, high ethical background.
Dave was a leader that might be described as maybe a Pied Piper. He was pretty good at sort of whistling a tune and getting everybody to whistle along with him.
We went to Dave and said, look at this financial problem that we have. It was pretty significant. Pages of financial audit issues and things like that. And Dave just gave me that look and gave me that Irish smile of his and that long pause that he had, which if you knew Dave, you knew what I'm talking about the pause.
He could analyze a situation very quickly.
Dave was sort of an easygoing guy up front, but if you spent any time with him, you realized he was what I might call sneaky smart, you know?
You know, I think the one piece about Dave that could be very disarming is that he would come into a meeting or a room very engaging, greeting people, enjoying the personal interchange, and that was part of his package, but so was his keen intellect.
He was frankly such a charming guy, you didn't always focus on how smart he was and how helpful some of the things he had to say about our profession and the world. And a lot of things were very insightful, but they could easily get lost in the twinkle of his eye.
The city of Syracuse had never been audited before. As a matter of fact, people thought he was insane trying to audit the city of Syracuse. Dave did that. Not only did he do it well, but he developed a municipal audit practice almost single-handedly.
And what I really appreciated then, and came to appreciate even more as mayor, was his ability to walk me through a process and make me understand different categories, different impacts, long-term versus short-term. What is a material finding? What isn't a material finding? Why is it material?
We're the keepers of quality. And so Dave would be very comfortable, frankly, talking with a client, explaining to them, I know you don't like it, but this is the right way to do it. And I'll go to the bank with you, and I'll talk with your lenders. I'll talk with your regulators. We'll be there with you to do that, but you have to get it right.
And so I remember one incident. We were down in Shelley Silver's office. We were trying to get mobility passed, so we went down to meet Shelley. Dave was with us, and Shelley cut us off in mid-sentence. He said, hold on, stop. He pointed and he looked at Dave and pointed at Dave and said, Dave, tell me why mobility is important to the small practitioner. And Dave, to his credit, just sat up in his seat and just nailed it. Talked about how it was making New York State less competitive, all of the benefits for every professional and every size firm in New York State. And sure enough, a few months later, we had mobility passed, and Dave was an integral part of getting that bill passed.
And I never felt like he was telling me what I wanted to hear. What I felt he was telling me is what I needed to hear.
There's no better definition of selfless and the shining example of carrying this profession forward. Michael Kirkland always referred to this profession as the gold standard. David Moynihan exemplified the gold standard.
He was a believer. He believed that he was going to get better. And he fought and fought and fought. And it wasn't up until he was in St. Camillus, and I snuck in a bottle of wine and pizza. And we sat in his room, and this was about 3 weeks before he passed. And that was the first time he admitted that he was tired. And he enjoyed a sip of wine until I told him if he was to get sick on that, I'd be really mad at him. And he had pizza, and we laughed. And I think I left there finally knowing that I might lose my friend. So, and then I did.
We miss him dearly. We used to see him all the time, not just at city government functions or when he would present the audits or talk to me about the audits and the findings, but you'd see him at neighborhood church festivals, different places working out or running through the city. He just was a terrific guy, and when you lose a human being like that, it's a loss for the entire community.
Anybody that knew Dave beyond a passing moment, knew how proud he was of being a CPA. And he very much wore that pride on his sleeve and was never embarrassed about it in any way, shape, or form.
I'm going to be honest with you, the Distinguished Service Award I don't think sums up enough of what he gave. It's the people that are left behind, the people in this room tonight. Dave's legacy is going to be left behind with the folks that are going to follow and carry forward what he's done for so many years.